We're here on the phone with musician Rebecca Angel. She has a new single out entitled Thoughts and Prayers. Rebecca, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, Rebecca. Okay, before we talk a little bit about your latest track, I would like to just learn a little bit about you and your background. So tell me everything we need to know about Rebecca Angel.
So I am 23 years old. I graduated from Ithaca College 2 years ago. I was a vocal jazz studies major. And from a very young age, I've always loved music. My dad's a jazz trumpet player, so I was able to perform with him growing up and actually record on some of his albums, singing on some of his albums. And he worked with this amazing producer, Jason Miles.
Mm-hmm.
So since I was 15, I've been also working with Jason, and Jason just produced my EP, What We Had, and Thoughts and Prayers. So It's been a long-running relationship, and he's really helped me develop as an artist and introduced me to so much amazing music. And he's really been fundamental in my creative and musical journey for the past several years. And so we came out with this EP past June. It's called What We Had, and we have a few original songs I co-wrote with my father, and then some cover songs, a few Brazilian tunes. One that stood out was Jet Samba, Samba Jazz Happiness.
Right.
And we actually pre-recorded that as a single, and I was the first one to do the vocal recording of that. It was from Marcos Valle, a famous Brazilian composer. So that was a really cool project.
Right.
Be the first one to actually sing lyrics on that song.
Nice.
It was recorded previously as an instrumental, but it was really fun to be able to do that. And then, co-write some songs with my dad, and Jason introduced me to a few new songs too, which I recorded. So it was a really cool project. I did it once I finished college, so I was really able to come into my own and explore, what my style is. And he really helped develop that and create this, unique sound that's kind of my own, not trying to copy anyone, but just be influenced by, what inspires me.
That's awesome. So what would you say is your forte with music? Is it jazz, would you consider yourself? Or I don't like to pigeonhole people into certain labels or anything, but would you consider yourself a jazz artist, or what would you identify yourself as?
I'm definitely heavily influenced in the jazz genre, and I grew up listening to tons of jazz music, and that's where I'd say I'm really rooted. But I definitely have been inspired by Brazilian jazz, samba, bossa nova, and some like R&B soul as well. So I think that it kind of encompasses all that rooted from jazz, but I've tried to make it more modern, more unique, and contemporary. So yeah,
you hit some of my favorite stuff right there, bossa nova and samba. I love it. We're wonderful stuff. So what would you say is some of the before we actually focus on your latest single, what would you say up until now has been some of the inspiration, I guess is the word I'm looking for some of your music?
Recently, I know it's not a recent artist, but Jason introduced me to Sade.
Oh, yes.
And her music. And I know, she hasn't come out with stuff in a while, but
she's wonderful, yep.
There's so wonderful. There's something to be said about kind of her timeless voice and smoothness, and she's not pushing too hard. She's kind of laying it back, and I think it's similar to a lot of the Brazilian music, like Astrid Gilberto. It's not like singing the craziest stuff, but it's really being in the music, present, and I don't know, just cool and collected. That's how I would put it.
Right.
So I've been influenced by that sort of thing, and I've been listening to a lot of Sade recently, actually.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Her older stuff and, I was going to say her newer stuff, but like you said, she really hasn't released much lately at all, but newer stuff, I guess you could say, compared to some of the stuff from the 80s. But no, she's fantastic. Big fan as well. So let's now focus a little bit on your latest single, Thoughts and Prayers. The title kind of stood out to me because it almost sounds like the topic has to do with some of the sad occurrences that have happened in our country in the past number of years, and everybody's always says my thoughts and prayers. Is that kind of what you were getting at with this track? And just tell me a little bit of background about this track.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit it on the on the point. So
right.
I really have been affected by this kind of lack of how do you put it? It's like people keep sending thoughts and prayers, but they're not actually doing any action, and I feel like the words become meaningless when we keep saying it repetitively over and over. And besides even political party and whatnot, I think it's something that throughout history, we're really silent when it comes to these things, and it's a real shame because it's just so many precious and innocent lives that are lost, and the whole point of the song is it's a cycle going around and around. But I also like to put in it some sort of hope. It's going to be okay, because if we're just so helpless, and even though it's easy to feel that way,
right,
if we're not trying to make some change, then it's just going to stay the same. So it was kind of like I went through a few different emotions in the song, but I think the main point that I want to get across is, if we join forces and we really work hard for a better tomorrow, like, it will happen. But just sending thoughts and prayers doesn't seem like it's enough.
I think that's very beautifully put. Excellent. I think you hit that one right out of the park, and I think the track is an absolute winner. What has the reaction been to the track so far? Are you getting airplay and reaction from the public?
Yeah, we released it recently through CDs. We just sent it out to a lot of stations. So in the past few weeks. So we also have a music video, which has done really well.
Oh.
And it has a lot of views now on YouTube. You can look it up, Rebecca Angel, Thoughts and Prayers. And so far everyone's really been supportive of it. And, it's unfortunately a very timely song because, like, even since I came out with the song, there have been so many more shootings and people dying from it. And it's just so tragic that it seems like we can't do better. And I think that it's unfortunately timely. I mean, I don't want it to be that way, of course.
Right.
But I think it's definitely the sort of thing that I think a lot of people can relate to, because before we know, it's like someone has been related, or someone who has been in that situation, and it's like we're all connected in some way because of that.
Right. So obviously, besides being the song being a tool of connection for people, feeling that they can connect with this somehow, I'm assuming that you're also hoping that the song has some sort of positive out. Obviously, you're not looking to change the world, and your song just stops all those shootings and stuff. But what are you at least hoping that it at least accomplishes or hits somebody's heart in some way? Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, I think that the main point really that I want to get across is that silence isn't going to do us any good, and even if it's just a song here, or if it's just a quote you reshare on social media or whatever it is, throughout different platforms, I think voicing your opinion and really staying strong and empowered. I know it sounds weird, but seeing that, okay, you're not a victim to it, you can do something that can contribute to this conversation of kind of where we've become as a society. And I think that sometimes a little goes a long way, and even if it just changes one person's mind, maybe I should stand up too and say something instead of just feeling victimized and out of, it's totally out of my control.
Right.
Doing something, and whether that's big or small, I think the more people do something and speak up and say, look, this is not okay.
Right.
We need to be talking about this. We need to not pretend like it's not happening.
Right.
Change will come, but I think it takes that initial step for people to really open their eyes and say, you know what, this isn't okay, and I need to do something about it.
Good stuff. You hit that one out of the park again. So on a more, happier note, I guess we could say, what's the future of Rebecca Angel? Are you working on any other projects? Where do you see yourself in a year, 5 years, 10 years? Are you going to be the next Sade? I mean, what's your future? Tell us what you're working on.
I'm working. I'm really excited. I'm working on another original song that will be out this summer.
Good.
And I've been writing more and more of my own music, which I think is the best way to really express myself, and I found that through Thoughts and Prayers that was fully original. I wrote the whole song, and I think there's something rewarding that comes with that. So, I perform around the New York City area regularly, and I'm looking forward to coming out with more original music, more songs. So I'll be coming out with hopefully, June or July, the next tune. It's called Summer Song.
Nice.
So it's a little bit lighter in subject matter.
Sure.
But yeah, I hope to just continue to write, stay authentic. Whatever I feel compelled to share with the world, what I'm going through. I think the most important thing today is just to stay true to who you are and really right from the heart, because there's so much fluff.
Absolutely.
That,
I agree. I agree. And actually, you just kind of answered one of my second to the last questions was, what advice would you have for, a younger person looking to kind of do what you do? But you kind of answered that. But if you want to add anything else, take it away.
Yeah.
What advice would you have?
I think that, like with anything people do, make sure it's coming from the heart, because there's a lot of not people doing things that feel fake, or it's just to please other people, but doing things really for your own happiness, your own sake, whether that be music or some other hobby. I think just following your passion, and but also being smart, because it's a hard industry, so being smart, taking other jobs if you need to. I think that's something that definitely isn't said enough, but should be, because music is great and it's a wonderful task, but you also need to support yourself. So being able to balance that, I think, is really important as well.
Right. Yep. You got to eat, right?
Yeah, somehow.
That's for sure. So, final question, Rebecca. Where can we get more information about you? Website, Facebook, Instagram. This is your opportunity to tell us where we can all learn about you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on Instagram. It's rebecca.jo.angel. I post gigs on there, and I have a website, rebeccaangel.net.
Okay.
It's not .com, rebeccaangel.net. And Facebook is Rebecca Angel Jazz, and I also post all my gigs there and things I'm up to. So those are the three things I keep updated all the time, so you can check it out there. And my music is on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music. You can find it anywhere. Just type in Rebecca Angel and you'll find it.
But I want to thank you so much for talking to us. You're truly an inspirational artist, and we really appreciate the time that we've had to share with you here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, too.